Oh, immediately you got somebody in there. You're just waiting for me to come back, weren't you? You knew I was going to come back. Where are they? Mojo, get out of there. Damn cur. Uh, hello, Clara. Yeah, we had some technological differences. Something. Uh, yeah, all of the Wi-Fi was reboot in a reboot cycle or something like that. I go when I got my internet here. I asked the guy. I said, "Okay, well, what do I power cycle to reboot the router?" And he goes, "Oh, you don't need to anymore." And I go, "What? You don't need to reboot the router anymore?" Well, because apparently the router reboots itself whenever the fuck it feels it needs to, and then it affects the entire system. And then it takes a while for the extender to come back on, but it was right in the middle of shit, and we were just getting started with the game. So sorry, y'all. Welcome back. Again, like I said, Uncle Birch teaching his first class at Hex New Orleans, March 21st. And, they didn't give me a whole lot of advance time, so I got to plug the hell out of the thing. Now, if you can come to New Orleans, please come to New Orleans. You're going to have a great time. You're going to go to Uncle Birch's class at Hex, learn some protection magic like you've never known. I called it protection magic basics, but there ain't nothing basic about anything I teach. Um, but it's going to be televised. You can watch it online. It's even going to be on demand later. You can watch it later. If March 21st at 7 p.m. Central Time is not your preferred time for if you're in another country or something like that, you can watch it on demand. I put the link in the description here, and I'm excited. I have not taught in person for about 5 years since I closed my brick and mortar, and I kind of miss that. I like teaching witches all over the world. I'll be able to do that at the same time. I mean, when I was teaching live and in person, that was just not an option, or not an option that I thought of. I never televised any of my classes before doing that, but there's a lot of ways to do that, and I might do a little bit of that on my own. Start my own crowdcast channel as well. Once I see how these people are doing it, so it'll be a learning experience for me as well. But uh, I'm excited. Gotta jump in boots first here in New Orleans and start doing some shit. So I think Hex New Orleans is an excellent place for me to start doing that kind of thing. So, in addition to that, we do this thing called Ask Uncle Birch. We were just getting started. Um, Try not to ask me a question when I'm answering a question. Try not to be too long-winded, and a good idea to copy your question and paste it again. And here's M. Macari got another question. Um, Uncle Birch, how would you go by asking tarot yes or no and getting an accurate answer? Okay, well, you shuffle them while thinking of the question, a yes or no question. Um, this is one of the few times that I do recommend reading tarot for yourself. I don't recommend doing an entire spread for yourself, but yes or no questions are totally doable. So shuffle your cards, and you're going to lay out 3 piles. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then one pile until you get to 13 cards or an ace. If you get an ace, you stop, go to the next pile. Next pile, it's going to be 13 cards or an ace. If you get an ace, you're going to go to the next pile. Or if you get to 13 cards, you go to the next pile. Until we got 3 piles of these, okay? 3 aces is yes. 2 aces is yeah, but look at that other card. Something about that, maybe an obstacle we got to get past to make that a yes. Like it's almost a yes, but there's a little thing we got to look at here. 1 ace, not too likely. And there's 2 cards to kind of give you an idea of why it's not too likely. And maybe, stuff that you can change to make it more likely. No aces is no. There you go. See, that was easy. But
Nothing.
man, your 1%'s lasted a long time.
I'm a one percenter.
How do you feel about sharing some level 1 year in a day videos with my wife? I don't want to be seen as stealing by your servitor. Thought I would ask permission. Thank you for asking permission, Kevin. I know that there's plenty of couples out there that are sharing the class, and if you can kick me down more money for that, great. But you go ahead and do that. If you're like learning in secret, and and your partner doesn't know, they're going to get start to get suspicious about your activities and think you're doing spells on them and stuff. So I know there's plenty of couples out there doing it, and I don't view it as stealing.
And we won't turn him into a toad
We
because he
won't
asked.
we won't turn you into a toad because you asked. Those other people, well, they just suddenly become toads. Sorry about that.
Oh, don't be sorry.
Oh, not well. When you say sorry about that like that, that's not
It's like
really
sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Oh, the cat's coming out.
Cat.
Hello, black cat. Let's see if I missed a question when I looked away. Thank you, Uncle Birch. Hi, Aunt Marta.
Aw.
Kevin said that. Say, do good things, do good things. Yes, do good things. We used to call it the great work. I always say to my students, do good things and try not to be a dick. Other than that, I don't judge people if they have to hex somebody or something like that. That's like, up to your moral compass. I can't judge your world. I can only
Yeah. Who
hope.
are we to decide
Yeah.
if it's justified or
I
not?
can only hope that you did the due diligence in your own world to
And if not,
justify
you'll
that.
deal with it when the time is right.
Exactly.
But I'm Uncle Bert. Pop up here, there, and everywhere, and I do this Ask Uncle Birch thing, and I go live and expose myself to random questions from witches around the world because it helps me keep my teaching muscles strong. And I hope it's a community service, teaching actual witchcraft by somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about out here on the internet, because there was so much to the contrary. People teaching non-actual witchcraft that don't know what the fuck they're talking about is unfortunately rampant out here. So guys like me gotta step up to the plate. Could you recommend what to do? Crystal Owl said, if a much older and experienced witch has threatened to kill you with magic. Wow.
Call it police. Call it police.
Well, you can't do that. Don't take it lightly. Yeah, you probably will. And especially if they've gone far enough to threaten you, they're really pissed off about something. You better have your protections up. You better you probably want to go back to my channel and watch How to Break a Curse, where I discuss the common symptoms involved with a curse and common remedies that you can do at home. Failing that, you have to pay somebody like me to remove the curse for you, and it's much more expensive than if you just watch my video and do it yourself. So I made it easier for people than having to pay a practitioner. But always remember, if you do that kind of thing, you want to watch the other video. When you banish, you must invoke. Rather important. You don't want to take away that curse and have nature put it back. Because if you don't put something in the place of that curse, that's exactly what will happen. Nature abhors a vacuum. We cannot escape the laws of physics. I think that's physics. It's at least a law of nature, which tend to be based on the laws of physics. So you got to put something back. So you don't want to invoke happiness into your life or something like that. Ever think about starting a Patreon? I'd join. Yeah, I did look at that, Kevin. Frederick Xavier, who gave me the idea to do Gumroad, my other channel, gumroad.com/witch school, WITCHSKEWL. And he does that, and I went and checked it out, but you got to have really small videos. There's really small uploads. Some of my videos, before I learned how to trim them on Gumroad, are 5 gigabytes, probably really good quality. But then, I eventually learned how to compress them with them. I had to get a secondary app to edit them. I couldn't, a couple hundred megabytes. And I rarely can get one of my videos down to a couple hundred megabytes because I'm fucking long-winded. So Patreon just has been pretty useless. I looked at it, but it didn't seem like I could really do anything. And Makari, any food offerings for Hermes, Mercury? You recommend cigars? Most things, ancestors, spirits, gods have a thing in common. They all seem to want alcohol, tobacco, and sweets. Chocolate is really popular, and dark chocolate's the most popular. In a pinch, if you don't know any of the preferred things. Also, I've seen like Mercury head dimes given to Mercury statues. You can usually find those online or in coin shops or pawn shops. They're older coins with a lot of silver in them, used in all kinds of Mercury magic. But those are a good thing to offer to them too. But in a pinch, everything wants alcohol, tobacco. Hermes, got Hermes Egypt. I'm thinking wine. And wine was the popular alcohols before they had, hardened spirits back then. Wine was all the rage, and I'm pretty sure Egypt was all over the wine. So probably wine, probably red wine. I think white wine was a later invention than red wine in the first place. So it's probably a good alcohol to go with there. So, pulling that out of my ass, yes. So yes, Uncle Birch, going to be teaching at Hex New Orleans, March 21st, 2020. It's going to be live and in person or televised. The link is here in the description. And there's an on-demand option if you want to like watch it later. If you watch it later, you're not going to be able to ask me questions. Like from what I understand, I'm going to have like a little teleprompter there where I can see people out on the interwebs asking me questions, kind of like we do here. And since I do so much of this, I should probably totally kick ass. I tend to do classes like this. I may have a piece of paper with some talking points written down, but never notes, never a script, never handouts, anything like that. I did my entire, when I was at Hex Fest last year, I did 3 workshops with not a note. It was just me off the top of my head standing in front of the people. I'd gone over my material, I had a pretty good idea what I wanted to say, but don't think I stuck to the script much because there wasn't one. So kind of be like that. I call the classes Protection Magic Basics, but looking at the material that I'm planning on presenting, there's nothing really basic about it. I will cover some basics for because we get tourists and stuff like that taking some of these classes here in New Orleans, so I have to have something tourist friendly as well, so I can't just teach advanced stuff. But I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be my first time teaching in person, with the exception of Hex Fest, in like 5 years since I closed my brick and mortar, and I kind of miss that. Kind of miss seeing people, meeting them, seeing their faces, talking to them, that kind of thing. So in addition to be plugging the fuck out of my class, we're doing Ask Uncle Birch. It's a Q&A of a magical variety. You can ask about almost any type of magic, and even if it's something that I don't practice, I'll probably have something to say. Try not to be too long-winded. Try not to ask me a question when I'm answering the question. And a good idea to copy your question so you can paste it later, because I might miss it, because they appear in a little bubble, and they fade away. There's a lot of activity at the railroad yard today, man. That was loud. What do you recommend for an oil to connect with your ancestors? Usually going to be an oil with some graveyard dirt in it. I always put galangal in most things because it's a heater, heats it up. But some sort of knowledge of your ancestors might be good. Like, let's say Italian and Greek ancestors, probably the oil is going to be olive oil based. And then even in the Middle East, the olive oil is a big, probably, yeah, I'm thinking about it, for a huge spectrum of ancestors, olive oil is going to be the best thing. I'm thinking of some other cultures, but if there was a preferred oil that was used back then during your ancestors' time, that you'd want to be, the base. Like nowadays, we got grapeseed oil. I use that for a lot of stuff, but that's a newer invention. I don't think anybody was making grapeseed oil back in the day. So a little bit of knowledge of your ancestors and what their cultural preferences were. But olive oil is probably going to be pretty popular in a lot of cultures. It was, I think even in the Bible, one of their I think it may have had some hyssop in it, or hyssop, however you want to say that. But it was an olive oil based, and it was multi-purpose cleansing and blessing kind of oil. So uh, graveyard dirt, some roots, maybe roots associated with your ancestors, um, but then the base oil is going to be really important, I would think. And we're asking to go birch. We've got a good flow of folks. I'm probably going to be going live a couple places today. Battery permitting, I might have to put a charge on my phone at some point. Um, but not as bad as Marta over here on her 1%, still going. But the distance from 3% to 1% was really short.
Yeah. I'm looking at what kind of trees to plant in Louisiana.
Oh, well, you got to get the ceiba
Oh,
tree.
there it goes.
Oh,
Ah,
and
now,
chargers by the
now I
couch.
have to listen to you.
Yeah, but you should probably go put it on charge so you have some.
But I don't want to leave.
Ah,
Oh, come back?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I'll let you come back.
I even meant me to like sit there.
Yeah, get out of here, woman. Um, what's a good concentration visualization exercise that can teach us make spellcasting better? I'll go you all three. Relaxation, concentration, and projection. First, the breath. Breathe in through your nose, hold it for 3 seconds, breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose, hold it 3 seconds, breathe out through your mouth. That's the most common breathing technique to help you relax. This one comes directly from the Spiral Dance, Starhawk's original work. It was one of the required reading books when I was a kid in witch school when it first came out. And the good thing about her book was that she spent a lot of time on exercises to work your magic muscles. And a lot of other how-to books were skipping over that kind of thing. They're like teaching you how to do the magic without showing you any magical techniques. And so she had this one where you visualize yourself standing on the seashore, pick up a rock, feel it in your hand, feel every detail of that rock. You take that rock with everything you got and hurl it at the horizon. You pick up another rock, and now the next rock you're going to try and hurl past that point. You're going to keep going, pushing that thing as far as you can go. This visualization exercise is also teaching projection, how to throw it and let it go. Because that's probably the hardest part of most spells is the letting it go portion of the spell. We're like, if it's so important, we tend to like hold on to a piece of it. And if you throw that rock, and that rock has just a small thread attached to it, the thread might break, but the rock's going to be off over there or that way. It's not going to go where we aimed it. So it's going to go where we aimed it when we totally let it go. So it's an excellent exercise, and you could even pick up the spiral dance. Maybe she goes into more detail on the exercise, but those are the basics of it. You're constantly trying to reach a further horizon with the throwing of the rock. I'm Uncle Birch. I'm getting ready for my first class at Hex New Orleans, and I'm pretty excited about it. Got the link right there, March 21st. Also, I just started my March 1st Witch School Year in a Day course, and it's by popular demand. I'm still leaving it open for people to sign up for that for probably about a week more. We've already started the class, but when you join late, you get the lesson that already went out. And that's at witchschool@gmail.com. WITCHSKEWL @gmail.com. My husband's parents live with us. We've interfered with our marriage, and we are on the brink of divorce. What do you recommend? So I guess you can't kick them out. Freezer spell might be kind of hard because they have access to your freezer. You might wonder what that thing is in the back of the freezer. So I'm assuming they probably have their own room. I'm gonna want to put. Yeah, I think you need to get them out of the house. A hot foot powder. You probably find a recipe for making hot foot powder. It's pretty easy if you just like Google, hot foot powder and magic with an ICK or hot foot powder hoodoo um, recipe. You probably get it. Tends to be the standard recipe everywhere you go. I'm gonna want to be sprinkling a little hot foot powder um, next to their door, uh, maybe in the night when they're sleeping. Also, salt. I'm going to put some rock salt in front of their door in the middle of the night when they're not going to be getting up to absorb their negativity. And then you take yourself a broom and you visualize their faces on the little pieces of salt as you so slowly sweep them towards the front door. You sweep them towards the front door, open the front door, sweep that shit out the door, keep it in a little pile right there, because later you're going to pick that shit up. You take the broom, turn it upside down, handle down, tap the handle 3 times against the ground. Uh, we're going to close the door and we're going to put the broom bristles up behind the door. And then, before they wake up or something, you need to get that salt, take it far from your house, throw it away. Throw it in a dumpster, whatever you got, throw it in an enemy's yard. Um, I'm thinking between that and the hot foot powder, hopefully we're going to get them a bug to get out of your house, because you can cleanse it all day, you can protect all day, but ultimately what you're going to have to be doing is like putting protections up, shields up around your room. These people are in the house with you, so it's going to make things pretty difficult, and the only thing you can do is kind of defend your room, and then you're going to have to be constantly cleansing the rest of the house of negativity, bringing in happiness or something like that. But ultimately, toxic people like that, you can't kick them out because they're family, but they gotta go. So those magics that I just recommend are stuff to get them to go. Uh, and as Marta will probably remind me over here, whenever you're doing a spell on somebody else, uh, magic follows the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
There's something that those people want. They're probably living with you because they need a job or they need some money, something like that. You can do a spell to get them the thing that they want somewhere else to where they have to leave, and nobody resists that.
And they'll want to leave.
They'll want to leave.
They're not going to fight it.
And they're not going to fight it, and their efforts will help your magic. They're trying to get that job or they're trying to get that house. Help them get that thing. Help them get the thing that takes them away from you. You're not incurring any negativity or any backlash or anything that you've got to deal with, and you're actually helping them out. You're doing a solid, and they're not going to resist it. They're going to actually help your magic along the way. So, in addition to those things with the hot foot powder and the sweeping, maybe a little spell to get them whatever they want. Yeah, always. That's always a good angle to take, even with an enemy. Better to have an enemy far away where they can't fucking hurt you. Have them happy with their lives, so they're not even fucking thinking about you anymore.
And then you strike.
Revenge, being a
cold.
dish best served cold, means a great many things, and often it means time. You hit them at a time when you're past the initial negativity, when they think you're all done, when they think you've gone away. That's when you show up and you exact your revenge. But that's just me. That's putting that out there.
That's just us.
That's just us. That's why we're here. But in addition to plugging my class, we're doing Ask Uncle Birch. You got questions about magic? I got something to say. Do you recommend using tropical or sidereal astrology for spellcasting? You're a ringer. You know what I'm going to say. You're asking very specific questions, Tara. Sidereal. It was first, somebody Marta was listening to, Jade Soul Luna, and he said this thing to rock my world. The people that first calculated tropical astrology failed to put one thing in their calculations, which throws the entire thing off more and more over time. the wobble of the Earth's axis, the precession of the equinox is involved here. It becomes less and less accurate over time. But sidereal and Vedic and all the other astrologies, they calculated that into it, and I tested it. I took I took my phone and I put on that Star Walk app on my phone where you can point it at the stars. It'll tell you everything that's there. You point at the moon, tells you that's the moon. Tells you, point at Mercury, tells you, hey, that's Mercury. When let's say the moon was supposed to be in Virgo, from my perspective, from Pacific Standard Time at a certain moment. Now, to me, that means that we got the moon here, Virgo behind it, in a direct line with me. That's what that means to me. Virgo was over here. Now, if I looked at it sidereally, it was right fucking on. And so this was I was able to see with my own eyes and a little bit of technology the wisdom of his words. Tropical astrology inaccurate, and in sidereal astrology, you might not even be the same sun sign that you think you are.
We're the same.
We're the same, yeah. My son is moving into his own place this week. Any suggestions on a good luck charm, powder, plant? Okay, you get a lot of the same answers on that, so I'm going to go with plant. Now, if it's me, I'm going to have rue. We moved halfway across country, and the movers told us, well, we can't take plants across state lines. So we had to select a very small amount of plants and put them in the trunk, where they remained for close to probably half a week.
Yeah.
The loading up the car, the driving across the country.
Took rue, gardenia,
and some succulents. I mean, the succulents weren't exactly, something we needed, but the rue. I needed the rue.
And I wanted the gardenia.
And typically, the rue's planted by the front door. Right now, I have it. You can almost see it over here by the back door because people kept stealing our succulents off the front porch. So once this rue's, well, the rue's doing pretty well, I'm going to root the rue and clear a space in the dirt next to the front door, because I don't want it by the front door, I don't want it by the back door. Excellent protection plant, great for removing curses, all you got, and an absolute must in Italian witchcraft. If you don't have rue, you don't have shit. I mean, even this, the cimaruta, just means sprig of rue in Italian, and it's a whole lot to a fucking cimaruta. So I'm gonna go with the rue.
Not to be confused with ROUX, which goes
Yes.
in gumbo.
ROUX
Kind of
goes in gumbo, we've learned. Those are the plants you chose to smuggle. Yes, because the other stuff definitely grows here. I mean, the rue
basil
definitely
grows well. We had a basil plant that we got rid of, but it grows well here.
The rue, the rue definitely grows well here, but it's I've got
It's harder to find.
It's harder to find, and I got a serious bond with this plant. So I work with this plant a lot. So brought this plant, and it's thriving here. Loves it. And I'm usually I got to have rosemary nearby too.
You have to plant some in a pot if you want to eat it.
Yeah, exactly like this person said, rue works best when stolen, and I have stolen a rue or two. So I don't want to leave it out there. But let's see, the train agrees about the rue. Yeah, you heard that. Okay, that was a sign. And then sometimes it's ships. So we hear trains, we hear ships, and we sometimes look down the street.
Sometimes we hear a marching band.
A lot of times we hear a marching band. And sometimes we look down the street and there'll be like one of those giant fucking cruise ships going by. Most insane thing you ever see. They got like roller coasters and water slides on top of them, and they're like 40 billion stories tall, and they look like they should just fall over.
Yep.
That river must be deep. There must be like an equal amount of the boat under the water.
Keep going, cruise ship people.
Keep going, cruise ship people. Take your Coronas elsewhere. Elaborate. A spell for more confidence, self-esteem. Being that that's a psychological work, your best magic for that's going to be chaos magic. You're going to want to, watch my video on the statement of intent. You want to have a good statement of intent, and then you watch my video on runes, or I'm sorry, sigils, how to turn language into symbols, and then probably the easiest way to do that is you look at the sigil every night before you go to sleep, and you stick it under your pillow. Look at it every night before you go to sleep. Stick it under your pillow. I'd probably do this for about 3 moons, and then on the full moon of the third moon, thank you, trains agreeing with me. Burn that shit. Burn the sigil. Uh, it's sigil magic is a great way to affect your subconscious, and there's an entire uh, category of sigil magic where you're just doing that. You're just looking at a symbol right before you go to sleep. Look at it if you're having sex or masturbating, that kind of thing. It puts energy into it, and then it's triggering portions of your subconscious. And then you can go back to my channel here and watch Mind Control 101. Part 1, 2, and I think there's 3. And I teach you how to reprogram your brain, your mind. Um, I'm laughing about the train fluctuating your points. Yes, the train is very humorous today. But it looks like it's finally on its way. I hear it moving. Getting a little hard to light the bulb back here. Breezy. Well, I'm Uncle Birch, in addition to telling you all about my first class at Hex New Orleans, March 21st. The link's right here. It's going to be live in person. It's also going to be televised around the world, and it's going to be on demand later. You can watch it later. If you watch it later, you won't be able to ask me questions and that kind of thing. Have you ever used a money lamp? Yeah. I mean, when we had the brick and mortar shit, I had everything going, man. I had the Rose of Jericho going. I had the Olegua at the door feeding him, giving him rum and smoke. Wait, no, he wanted whiskey and smoke. Yeah. The was it Irish moss under the welcome mat, lodestones in the cash register, and a lamp going. So absolutely, in that lamp, in the oil for that lamp, I had high John galangal, mints, basil, little shredded up pieces of money, and the lamp heats it. Kind of like I always say about honey jars. I found that when a honey jar really starts working, it's when the candle flame reaches the lid and the jar and the honey itself heat up. So on hot days, I'll take my honey jar and put it out in the sun and get energy to the honey jar even without candles or anything like that. Where you got heat, you got energy, kids. No rule here, so I'll do my part. Any witches plan? Shit, no rule. Wait a minute. Well, where are you? Yeah, if there's an old Latino woman near you of any of the Latino cultures, uh, if rue grows there, Mexican, British. God, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, yeah, no, it grows in Italy, but every Latino woman's going to have it, like, or old woman is going to have it growing by her front door. Um, uh, Rosemary. If you ain't got that rosemary, rosemary's growing fucking everywhere. God, maybe I need to learn what.
A lot of the buds that were on this gardenia are gone.
That's what I thought. I was looking at that
I
yesterday.
mean, there's a couple here and there, but they're smaller, and they just like literally disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. Well, here's, this one's kind of big. Like, there's a couple, good ones, but for the most part, they disappeared. Here, there's a couple here and there. But
Where's the best place to get lodestones and crystals? Well, any occult store is going to have them. I'm pretty sure I even have them on my website.
yeah,
Um,
you do.
even New Age stores have them in this day and age, from because of a cultural appropriation. Um, it's pretty easy to find. But then I remember one time I bought a 10-pound batch of lodestones for my store,
And there was like one big piece.
and it was one big fucking lodestone, that fucking big.
Took a
And
hammer.
it took a hammer way to use that. The next time I got a really big one, I use that, and so we're
Used it as like a big window display. Get 2 huge lodestones.
glad to see you live again. Your thoughts on coronavirus? Trump pretending that everything was okay didn't make everything okay. Doing that to prop up the stock market didn't prop up the stock market. But one thing that I started saying the other day, I learned this thing back, my witch mom did this thing way back when I was a kid. All the cash that came into the store got sprayed with this money spray. And again, it was, basil, galangal, uh, uh, chamomile, and Irish moss in an alcohol base. Soaked in there. They shook it up every so often. It was an alcohol base, and so they sprayed all the incoming cash with the money oil. And I picked that up, and I started doing it at my shop. And now it turns out that one of the ways they believe coronavirus is spreading is on cash, and it can survive on cash for how many days? Several days. It stays alive on cash, and if you have a brick and mortar store where you're taking in cash, fighter planes.
Birch.
Jesus.
So I just read that gardenias like coffee grounds.
Yeah. That's like.
We gotta give our coffee grounds to the gardenia plants.
Okay.
So it gets the buds.
Okay. I don't know. That was some like space-based shit.
Of, like fighter jets around.
Yeah, there's an Air Force base on the Mississippi.
Several.
Yeah, but that was just some supersonic shit. I'm expecting to hear it break the sound barrier any fucking second. I couldn't even see it. I'm a parent, so of course I worry about every fucking virus. But we're trying to, keep the kid washing his hands.
Luckily, it doesn't seem to affect kids that much.
Yeah, we didn't go to some of the Mardi Gras, partially because of that, and then we got a puppy, and the vet said don't take him to parades till you get all of his shots.
I was actually happy. I was like, okay, no problem. I don't really want to go anyway because of the virus.
But I'm thinking all of the alcohol spilled on our streets is constantly cleansing the streets, so we'll probably be okay here. I've often said that this town smells like a Mononso.
That doesn't have any cases.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx myself, but
yeah, knock on wood. What is that?
Wood.
Oh, it's the neighbor's radio. All right, so we've been doing Ask Uncle Birch. We've been talking about the class. I'll probably go a little bit longer, then I got to see if I can get jump on live at another place after I charge my battery. Hi, Marta. It's unusual. Is it unusual to have 3 kites in your naval chart? Ooh. Kites?
Yeah, I know what kites are. I don't know. I would say so. Like I don't think I've ever seen or heard of 3 kites. I mean, I'm not an astrologer, but I think that would be unusual. I have 3 yodes, which is also
that's
unusual.
way unusual. Yeah.
Well, kites are too. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Marta's answer is yes. So again, March 21st, 2020, my first live class for the year.
Day. 13 days.
13 days.
From today.
I got the link to the Facebook group. Hopefully that takes it, or hopefully that's a web page. Show us the new puppy. Where is he?
He's right there. Bring the phone and show him.
Puppy's sleeping right now. Oh, no, he's just chilling. Say hi, Mojo. Say hi.
Mojo.
He's looking at himself. All right, hopefully you saw him. He came with that name. His name was Mojo before we got him. So how could we say no Mojo? I mean, well, actually, I find myself saying that to him a lot these days because he's because puppies, right?
As far as puppies go, apparently it's not that bad. He didn't destroy any, shoes or furniture or anything.
Tara, there's the Hex New Orleans page. On their page, they have a list of classes. They have a link to my class, and then when after the class, I'm not sure if there's a couple days or how long it takes for them to have it on demand. It'll be all on that same class page. There's only been I think two before me, so I'm blazing a new trail here. So this is why I want to plug this. I gotta fucking blow this shit out of the water. I gotta rock this shit. I gotta have better ratings at my class than all these other fuckers teaching over there. No, sorry, I didn't mean to call you fuckers, but I need to kick all your asses in the ratings, right? Kind of like a Hex Fest. You know, I made a fucking entrance to Hex Fest. And then I'm going to be at Hex Fest this year too, so you need to go to that. And if you're thinking about going to Hex Fest, you got to get on that shit right away. They're almost sold out.
As of last night, he had 13 tickets left.
13 tickets, and it's August. I think last year sold out the day of,
No,
finally, or somewhere around there.
I don't know about that, but they still had some like the week before.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's because Uncle Birch is teaching there. It's got to be what it is. One of the
That's
posts.
the only variable.
Yeah, he said one of their posts went viral and the tickets got selling. I'm sure it was, and right after he said that one of that it was going viral, and all tickets sold out. He shared my presenter page on the page, so I think that was kind of a hint there.
Okay.
So I'm sure it had to be me. I was fucking with you.
Yeah, last time I heard, last I heard, he only had 13 tickets.
Yeah.
And the thing, I mean, he might be persuaded to sell a few more, but as far as the Creole Queen,
Yeah,
the boat thing,
riverboat.
They gave him a hard number.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to be counting.
Yeah, there's only so many people they can fit on the riverboat, and a lot of them are large.
So maybe he can sell some tickets that don't include the riverboat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't bring no coronavirus to the riverboat, man.
Yeah, seriously.
13 days, 13 tickets. I see a pattern. Yeah, it's so we're months from Hex Fest, and it's already selling out. So you can see me at Hex Fest. You can see me at Hex New Orleans. And of course, at gumroad.com/witch school, which, as you know, is WITCHSKEWL, where I'm still allowing people into the March 1st year in a day course for the next few days, because it's been a pretty good demand and people blowing up my inbox asking about it. Let's see. What's a good spell to make a person lose their job? That's a perfect candidate for like some goofer dust. Goofer dust, it works, in so many ways, but basically, it's sprinkled where the target's going to walk, and then the target's going to track that thing into its environment, either its cubicle at work, or into their house. Hopefully, all of those things, and the ingredients in that agitate their life to where they make very poor decisions, fuck shit up, get in a lot of fights, and hopefully do that at work. Now, if you're at the same job, clean your shoes a lot. Every time you go to the bathroom, if there's nobody else in there, stick your fucking soles up in there in the sink and wash your shit off. That's one of the best ways because you gotta. There's something about the intent you put into the stuff, and so it's not really, you're not getting the full blast from goofer dust, but the ingredients themselves are fucking noxious, agitating things, and if you get some on you, you're going to get some on you. So you also wash your hands once you sprinkle that shit, or use gloves when you sprinkle that shit, and then wash the fucking gloves. Just pretend you're like sprinkling anthrax around, or something like that. Just don't you exercise some precautions. That's one I would suggest there. I think a couple of y'all are getting a lot of questions answered. When am I going live next? I don't know. I'm going to try again on beginners Wicca in witchcraft, or is it Wicca and witchcraft for beginners? I forget. The one owned by Anuj Elvis. That should be easy to remember.
Yeah, but I don't know if either of those pages actually say like who owns the page. That might not help.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's
I
on there.
thought they do.
I don't know if he's
I don't
listed
know.
on there. Because I didn't
Yeah.
know who he was before.
Yeah. I'm not sure. And I'm gonna have
Not
to.
sure.
Yeah, and I got to bring out like some chips and salsas or something for us
Yeah.
to be doing out here.
Yeah.
Um,
Chips and salsa.
I might have to charge my phone for a little bit, so I'm not sure when I'm going to do that, but it'll
Chips,
be
salsa,
a little bit
and,
later.
and hot sauce.
And if that doesn't work, I might go live on my Facebook channel because I rarely do that. Uh, and I'm in Messenger jail right now for trying.
Still?
Yeah, for trying to spam. I say trying because I don't think half of it got out. I think I've got close to 3,000 fucking friends.
It's not even spam though.
Yeah, but to try and send that class to about 3,000 of my friends.
Which isn't spam. Like,
Yeah, but well, remember we were at the bar and it just kept. So when it went out, it's like 1,000 of them in a burst, and that's the kind of thing
it's still not spam. Like,
I know, but it's coding. That's the thing that sets off their algorithms. How many messages in one burst go out? So there's a way I could have got away.
They don't understand coding.
Yeah,
they think it's a bad thing.
There's a way I could have pulled it off, but I didn't do it right. I should have sent them maybe in smaller batches. But I didn't even know the Messenger jail was a thing. I thought I got to communicate with all my friends. So anyway, to try and plug this class, I'm in Messenger jail. So that would be one way to reach the thousands of people on my fucking Facebook page, the Michael Carell Facebook page. So might go live there. If you find me there, if you're on my friends list. What else was I going to say? Oh, and on a beginner's Wicca and Witchcraft, I'll try there. That's always a crapshoot. I gotta have admin approval, but I have to wait for another admin to actually be at the helm to physically approve it. so I'll be here or there or elsewhere. Let me see if we got a question. I do two more. I got to jump off this one. Sure, Hellcat, you're welcome. Jump off this one, see if I got to charge my phone, see where I'm going to pop up live. But other than today's jumping around, I never know when I'm going to go live. But when it's time to go live, I'm going to go live somewhere.